Hello, this is Paul Milligan for IT Show TV. Many thanks for joining us this video. We are talking today to Duncan Wardell, who's the keynote speaker at this year's IC 2020.
Delighted to be here. Thank you very much.
Looking through your kind of bio and the background to the keynote, which is happening tonight, which is Monday night, the theme that kind of struck me most was creativity, and the AV industry maybe don't put the two together. So
no, that's very fair. Yeah, look, I was with Disney for 30 years. So, but here's the thing. Innovation was trendy, 5 years ago? Let's get an innovation team. Let's get an innovation lab. Now, for most of the big brands, it's about survival. Macy's announced 3 days ago they're going to close 125 stores in the United States of America. Physical retail, bye. Now people realize that in order to survive, they need to innovate. But they don't know how to do it. That's the challenge. And all the CEOs are standing up there saying, you need to think differently. We must disrupt. We must think different. You must innovate. And all their employees, who are good people, they've worked for them for a year or 20 years, are sitting there going, that's great. How exactly do I do that? Yeah. And nobody's showing them how. So all I've done is taken all my experience at Disney and made a toolkit, a tangible toolkit that people can use to make innovation easy, creativity tangible, and the process fun. We talk culture change. You can't talk culture change. People have to want to change the culture. It's no good saying, I need you to take risks. It's give people tools. They will be brave. They'll take risks if you give them the tools to do the job. And so that's what I've done. I've leaned on my experience at Disney and created a toolkit that also makes the process fun, because culture change comes from when your employees are using the toolkit when you're not around because they choose to use it. That's when you're driving change.
So one of the barriers it's fear then, you think, to being more creative?
I think, well, look, here's the thing. You're in finance, you're in sales, you're in marketing, you're operations, you're in IT. You're not creative. We've all been told so many times we're not creative that most people actually, you'll see this evening when I ask, the first question is hands up, who here believes they're creative? Less than 5% of them will put their hands up. And yet they are creative, they've just forgotten. So for example, when you were a little boy, you got a Christmas present. It was the biggest Christmas present you ever got. Came in a huge box, right? Let's say it was a bicycle. Came in a massive box, okay. Took you ages to get the bike out of the box. What do you spend the rest of the day playing with? The box. Why? Because it could be anything you wanted to be, a castle, a fort, a rocket ship. But then you grow up and you're told it's just a box. Your imagination, your creativity starts to slip down. The more experience, the more expertise we get, all of us, the bigger our barrier to innovation is, because I can think very fast and very quick on Disney and public relations, but we're being asked to get out of our river of thinking more and more often, and think more disruptively. But we can't. We're stuck here. Yeah. So this evening, I'm going to give them a series of tools to stop them thinking like they always do and get them to think differently.
Why? A couple of things from what you've just said. First one, why don't we view ourselves as, well, you said 5%, why don't we see ourselves as creative? Is there fear, embarrassment?
I think most people define creativity as the ability to draw, paint, or write music. I don't. I think the ability, for me, the definition of creativity is the ability to have an idea. We can all do that. And the ability, and innovation is the ability to get it done.
So that could come in, like you said, finance or...
Could come, the Walt Disney Company finance team were some of the most creative people I ever met because they kept me in budget. Yeah.
You talked about the tools to be creative. Are we talking about the physical environment? Are we talking about a sort of change in the mindset, or is it kind of loads of those?
So you and I, so here's the tools. It's about to stop you thinking as you always do and to help you think differently. So you and I are going to go into business together and we're going to open a car wash. So tell me the 3 or 4 essential ingredients we must put in our car wash.
A machine to
wash.
Right. A water supply.
Water.
People to run it.
Right.
And
one more.
I guess the sort of the backroom team, people to manage the finance.
So machine, water, soap, brushes. Yeah. Okay, screw that. You and I are going to go into business. We're going to open an auto spa. Now, what could we put in our spa? What could you put in a spa?
For people, you mean, or for?
I don't know. What do you want to put in it?
Like hot tubs. I don't know.
So. In less than 5 seconds, I stopped you thinking about your river of thinking. Your experience tells you car wash must have water, brushes, soap, dryer. All I did was re-express the challenge. I said auto spa, and you immediately went to jacuzzi. Here's how powerful the tool is. It was created by Walt, last name Disney. July 17th, 1955, he said, we will not have any customers in our park. We will only have guests. Now think about how you're treated when you cross the thresholds of your best mate's house or a Disney park, or think about when you're treated as a customer. He said we will not have any cast members in our, employees in our park. We'll only have cast members. They'll be cast for a role in the show. That simple re-expression of a challenge created a level of hospitality that has never been duplicated or replicated, despite the fact that many people try to do it. So fast forward to 2011. If we'd asked ourselves the question that everybody asks themselves every day, how might we make more money? That's easy. You put the gate price up at the Disney theme park by 3% and you make your quarterly results. That's iteration, it's not innovation. We re-expressed the question, turned it on its head and said, how might we solve the biggest consumer pain point? Now, have you been to a Disney park?
Yes, years ago, but yeah.
What's the biggest pain point?
Queuing.
Of course, it's the lines, right? So we said, what if there were no lines? Didn't know how to do it. What if we eliminated the front desk into our hotels? What if we took away the barriers at the entrance to the park that turns? What if you didn't stand in line for your favourite character meet and greet or your favourite attraction each day? What if you didn't have to stand in line to pay for merchandise or food and beverage? Didn't know how to do it, but sure enough, RFID technology was invented a long time before we brought it in. Now when you go to the Walt Disney World Resort today, you get a Disney Magic Band. It's an RFID enabled plastic band. It sits on your wrist. It is your room key. No need to check in or check out anymore. There's no turnstiles at the entrance of the park anymore. You swipe and go. Your favourite attractions, your character meet and greets, your reservations, swipe and go. I want to buy this coffee cup and have it sent to my hotel room. I'll touch it once. I want it sent to my house. Boom, boom. I'll touch it twice. Think of the per caps on that. I want my hot dog for lunch. I want light mayonnaise, pickles on the side. I'm going to Pinocchio's Village House for lunch today. Save on my smartphone. I walk into the restaurant. Restaurant recognises I'm here. I touch table 47. Food comes fresh to me. Had we have started by saying how might we make more money, we'd have put the gate price up 3%, got our quarterly results. But because we said turn the car wash, auto spa, how might we solve the biggest consumer pain point? The average consumer now has 2 hours free time a day they didn't have 4 years ago. And what has that resulted in? Record revenues. The biggest revenue generating idea since Disneyland opened its doors on July 17th, 1955. Not only that, data. Millions of visitors every day, every second of every day, are live crowdsourcing the future of all the products and services to be created by Disney Parks simply by telling them what they like and what they don't like. So it's a very simple tool. It just gets you to stop thinking as you always have and start thinking differently. I mean, another example is a tool, Walt created it, gave birth to Disneyland, but a more easier example is Netflix. Did you used to go to Blockbuster Video?
Yeah.
Okay, what was the biggest pain of going to Blockbuster Video?
Returning the videos afterwards.
So, Reed Hastings, who went on to create Netflix, he used this tool. You list the rules of your industry, you pick one and say, what if that rule didn't exist? So, the rules of going to Blockbuster were you had to go during opening hours, you had to drive to a physical store, you had to be kind of rewind, you could only get 3 at a time, they never had the one you wanted on opening day, you had to pay late fees. So he said, what if there was no physical store? Didn't know how to do it. He said, well, wait a minute, YouTube already exists. And they only stream amateur content. Well, what if I just stream professional content? I'll do a deal with the movie studios. I'll stream it online. I'm open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Nobody has to drive to me. Nobody has to return it. Everybody gets the one they want opening day weekend. I'll cut the rental off at 24 hours, so nobody pays a late fee. I'll call it Netflix. In fact, I'll take my idea to Blockbuster 5 times. They'll turn me down 5 times and I'll take them out of business in less than 5 years. It's a very powerful tool. Now, it's easy to look at Disney and Netflix and say, but I'm a smaller company. How could I do that? I'll give you a smaller example. Can I borrow that glass?
Yeah.
So there was a small company in Great Britain in the 70s that made glasses that we drink out of. And they had 26 employees, not a huge company by any stretch. And they found that when their employees were wrapping and packaging the glasses to be shipped, there was too much breakage and not enough production. So they went down to the shop floor and used the what if tool. They listed the rules of their challenge. 26 employees, conveyor belt, 12 glasses to a box, 6 on the top, 6 on the bottom, separated by corrugated cardboard, glasses wrapped in newspaper, employees reading newspaper. Well, there could be an issue. So somebody asked the relatively provocative what if question, what if we poke their eyes out? Well, you can't, because it's against the law and it's not very nice. But because he had the courage to ask the provocative question, the lady next to him got out of her river thinking, said, well, wait a minute, why don't we just hire blind people? So they did. Production went up, I think, over 18%, breakage went down over 40%, and the British government gave them a 50% salary subsidy for hiring people with disabilities. So it's just about giving people tools to stop them thinking as they always have. Yeah. Actually, if you've got a pen and piece of paper that would do an exercise. No, don't worry if you haven't. It's fine. So mentally, I want you to draw. I'm going to name an object. I want you to draw it mentally. Okay. So you only get 7 seconds. So close your eyes because you'll be able to see it easier. I'd like you to draw a house. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so I have some questions for you. Why did you draw the door in the middle at the front? Why 2 windows, and why are you so insecure you drew bars over them? And what shapes the roof? And what shapes the roof? It's a triangle.
Yeah.
Why? Because your river of thinking tells you all of your expertise and experience says that's what a house should look like. So we were designing a new retail dining and entertainment complex for Hong Kong Disneyland. I had in the room 12 white male American architects over 50. That's called groupthink. So I invited in as my naive expert. A naive expert is somebody, they're not there to solve the challenge for you, but they are there because they don't work for you, and they're not limited. So it gives them permission to ask the silly question you can't ask in front of your peers, or to throw out the audacious idea ungoverned by your politics, your turf, your approval levels. So while they all drew exactly what I knew they would draw, I invited in a Chinese chef because she was a girl, she was under 30, she was Chinese, she was a chef, she was the antithesis of everybody else in the room. So while they all drew exactly what you drew, she didn't. Of course she wouldn't. She's Chinese. She drew dim sum, a round bamboo dish that your dim sum comes in, with a prawn ball, a pork ball, a chimney, and a little Chinese lady waving out the window. We all laughed because we realised we stayed in our river of thinking what a house should look like, as did you. She gave us permission to get out of that river of thinking and consider audacious architecture. If any company in the world could consider audacious architecture, we're the Walt Disney Company. On the way out the door, somebody just put a post-it note over a drawing. It said, distinctly Disney, authentically Chinese. 7 years later, the strategic brand position for the design of the Shanghai Disney Resort was distinctly Disney, authentically Chinese.
Wow.
So most companies don't understand the power of diversity. Diversity is innovation. If somebody looks different to you, they think different to you. And if they think different to you, they can help you think differently.
Yeah.
And most companies don't understand that. They surround themselves with people who look like them.
Sure. Wow, Duncan, thanks very much for that. It's
Thank you very much.
Give us a lovely insight into what I'm sure will be a fascinating keynote speech tonight. Many thanks for joining us.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.